Hello YouTubers, it's redlipblonde, and I'm basically doing another series of videos. I just got done with the Marilyn Monroe, through the spirit, in her own words I gathered through the spirit. Instead of prayer. I'm not a psychic, I'm not a historian, I'm a regular person seeking the truth, so anybody that's into truth seeking and in any which way they know to find the truth of mysterious deaths of people that you're interested in knowing about, this is why I did this series, so check it out. And it was very interesting. There was like 100% accuracy as far as the words connecting to her name. You know, I may have, if there's any errors on my research, I basically wrote quick notes to the words connected to her after researching, after going through the spirit. So, you know, if there's any interesting facts that need to be added that you can find, great. If I had made any small errors in writing them down in a certain way or having the dates off, just let me know. I'm not perfect. Anyway, today we're doing the JFK Jr. video series, Through the Spirit, JFK Jr.'s own words, and the Bessette, if they have anything to say through him. So I went in the spirit, and here's my list of words, and let's find out the truth through JFK Jr.'s spirit and the Bessette. Okay? The first word I got, well, dates I got were 1986 through 1988, and I'm still doing some research, you know, what's the connection with JFK Jr., which is the son of JFK, the president. In case anyone didn't know that. It brought me to biomeds, a biomed site, which I'm going to go in depth of finding research on that. So, under biomed through 1986 through 1988, I'm going to read some books and find out what he's trying to let me know, if anything, about biomeds. Maybe it was an article he wrote for his magazine that was published. I have to find out. So I'm still researching that. And I wanted to let you know that was the 2 years that he's given me for some reason. But it did take me to an online site under biomeds. Okay, the next word I got was the loop. And what I found connected to his name and the loop, there were some articles posted online. First, there was some personal photos of his sister and himself and family photos through the JFK library that were released. I didn't write the date, but it wasn't that long ago, so if you want to check that out. Also, the loop, we got some connections through the Washington Post, where there's an article of Kennedy and the Bessette. After their death, I guess the Bessettes were given shipboard rights, and they were out of the loop. The Bessettes were out of the loop concerning the shipyard rights. So I still have to finish reading that article and finding out more. So like I said, this is just a brief of the words, and then I'll make more videos to go into more detail once I do more research, and then we'll put this whole puzzle together and find out if, you know, what he's trying to tell us, and link them. If I did find in the past videos I've done his father so far, I just haven't gotten them all online yet. I've completed Marilyn Monroe's, but I've noticed that there's some names and connections even through separate entities like Marilyn and his father. And so it's really interesting how it's leading me into government and the Defense Department and medical and realty and media. So there are some shadowing evil links that seem to be connected not just for JFK Jr., but to his father and Marilyn and other people. So that's really interesting. It's kind of opening a can of worms in brief. So, okay, so the next out of the loop, I got also the Eves magazine, JFK Jr.'s air crash report. And it said that to close the loop, the Eves magazine and also Slate magazine, there's some common bumbling on the scripts of the reporting of the crash and changes of wording through the reporters and the media. So there's some interesting things to watch on the internet, according to these magazines that all gave different answers and just ridiculous statements once the plane went down. So I'm going to look into that too and find out the different, how things were, some of the first reports were snuffed out and not heard of again, and then you've gotten several different theories, so that there's a pattern, like his father's death, how they want to throw out all these different answers and lies, I should say, so it would confuse the public to not know the truth. So I'm seeing the same pattern in his son's death as well as his father's. So I'm going to do some more research on that. I mean, once you get started on this, folks, it's going to be an endless rabbit hole, but I feel through the spirit a very simple open and shut case. I'm not putting my own personal opinions in this. This is straight of what I'm getting through the spirit, through our Lord. So I never question our Lord, and I'm sure He wants us to know the truth. I'm a truth seeker, and I hope you are too. So that's what I got from the loop, those three. The Washington Post about the Bessette, not something with the shipyard rights, and Eves magazine, telling about JFK Jr. I will call him JJ throughout these videos because it's just easier. So JJ stands for JFK Jr. Okay? And we also, it has details online about the loop of the magazine, Slate magazine, describing how the reporters were bumbling up the script and responding by changing their wording on the details of the crash. The next word I got was Swansea restaurant. I don't know if this is a restaurant, but it came in two words, and I didn't know to look them up separately or together, so I did them both. I first did both words together. No idea, but I came up, it was a person that his father's name came up, JFK Sr., the president, in 1961 had hired a woman for the United States Mint in 1961 for Berengar 2, Berengar, 1080-1125, Swansea Erskine, and she was born in South Africa, and then she worked under Kennedy for some maybe human natural services. I'm not sure. I have to do some more investigating on this woman. And linked to her was Swansea. She had a daughter who opened a restaurant, Swansea Restaurant. But this woman, because of this name, it brought me to his father, who had a woman, Erskine, Erskin, in 1961, worked for his father, JFK Sr. She was out of Africa. And because of that, she had a daughter who opened a restaurant, Swansea. So I have to do more research on that. But for some reason, JFK Jr. wanted me to evaluate this. Maybe there's some past people that had ties in with his death. I don't know. I'm not going to put my own opinion in. I'm going to be open here. Okay, the next thing I got was 1937. That's a year, and I've noticed there was a lot going on then. And even prior to JJ being born, politics, research what was going on in those years. That's key. I'm going to keep that date open for him throughout. And Lord, let's see what else. I'm doing the video. The next word I got is McCarthy and frank and wiser. McCarthy, obviously, and if you watch the prior videos under Maryland, and his father's will be also a video series. It's going to be quite lengthy, but this name came up twice on two different entities through the spirit. So McCarthy is a key name that JFK Jr. had given me, and Frank was also a name that Maryland had given me. If you watch the videos, you'll go find out. But McCarthy and Frank Wisner in Dulles, I called them duels. His name came up again, and in the former videos, his name is in Maryland. And I think he is a key player. He's a CIA operative, and JFK Jr. mentioned these names again, which is really bizarre. So, you know, there were questions about who would want him gone, and it came up Dulles, McCarthy, Frank, and his last name is Wisner. Then I had Patrika, as an Indian paper. There's something going on in India. Maybe not when JFK Jr. was alive, but prior to his death, there may have been some issues going on in India that could have been linked to him passing. So Patrika, Indian paper, 1999, a telegraph, and a bazaar, Patrika, are setting up a fund. And it's an article that was undeclared war on Kargil to donate funds in the soldier's death in the war in Kargil, K-A-R-G-I-L. And so there's some India information for under Patrika that I have to do more research on. But he wanted to give me that name. Next name was Jenkins, East Carolina University. Leo Jenkins, he introduces the Senate, John F. Kennedy, to student body, President James Spite. So, again, Jenkins was also mentioned in his father's information that I haven't done videos on yet. So, it's very uncanny. Jenkins is another key name. And I also found out that Ellen Jenkins went to varsity football at Harvard in 1937. Again, I said to remember 1937 through these words, and it came up again 1937. So this goes back to his father. Harvard is a key because Harvard obviously is a popular college, but Harvard and Jenkins, his father was on varsity football with this gentleman, Alan Jenkins, and there's a photo online in 1937. John's father was at Harvard University, and I believe JJ was too. The next word he gave me, well, no, there's another connection, a Dan Jenkins. So these are all the Jenkins that are connected to him, so it's amazing how they all connect in some way. So we'll do some more investigating, but the next Jenkins I got was Dan Jenkins, was a friend of John. So his father was friends with an Alan Jenkins he went to varsity football with in 1937, which that date came up. And John Jr. was friends with Dan Jenkins. And he wrote a memoir in an advertising agency he owns. And he's a creative director of JJ's, John Jr.'s magazine, George. I mean, he's a key figure here. He worked with John Jr. on his magazine. He was a sports writer in New York. Nightlife, Sports Illustrator. That's amazing. So maybe he has more information. Alright, the next word is fleck. Fleck. Also, that name came up in his father's reading, which I haven't made videos on yet, just to note. A man that had been conspiring to kill Kennedy. There's an article online, Fleck. I don't have a first name. That's what I found, a connection through John Jr.'s reading. And there's a Barbara Fleck who also wrote an autobiography and combined his father and JJ's life. I refer to him as JJ's, John Jr. Okay, the next word I got, and Fleck does come up a couple other times. I'm going to do more research and make another video on the ones that I've only got bits and parts of information. The next word is ticket vote, a column online that mentions that there were 3 tickets that face off: UC presidential debate, JFK Jr.'s Monday night trying to become counsel, next to president and vice president. They face off. The names are Gong, Siesta, Gofford, VK, Nowaki, and Una Kim, and Sam Clark, and Gus Malponi. This is an article about him having a debate when he went to school for president, vice president, to the college, I believe he went to, a ticket vote. There's a connection there. I have to do more research. But also in his father's reading, I believe the name Gofford, could have been Gifford, came up. So maybe there's something going on there. Geneva, that name also came up in Marilyn's reading for some reason. So again, it came up. Connected to JJ's reading, it's Bessette attended Hubert and William Smith College of New York and worked for Bank Morgan Stanley Dean. And she died at 34, and she took economics. So obviously the Bessette girl is coming through. I believe that's his wife. No, his sister Lauren. So yeah, I never knew that she worked for Morgan and Stanley, these bankers, which are my own personal note. They do have some underlying evil things going on to banking and people in that field. Anyway, I won't mention that now, but okay, so continue with Geneva. Lauren Bessette was also Wall Street investment house 8 years and promoted from vice pres to a principal investment banking at an Asian financial market in Hong Kong. So they have a branch in Hong Kong, and I'm wondering, who knows, maybe we won't put it together yet, but through the word Geneva, I would have never known about Lauren Bessette working at Morgan and Stanley Bank. She worked on Wall Street, and she worked as an investment banking, promoted in Asia, Hong Kong. So, who knows, maybe there's a connection with her. Maybe someone didn't want her around. Maybe she knew too much. Maybe JJ was just a victim. We don't know. Anyway, the next word, I'm going to do more research on that too. We'll do one more word and we'll go to video 2. Green. Again, that came up in Marilyn's reading as well as his father's, but anyways, they were Green was a friend of Lauren Bessette, and she had many friends. And Lauren Bessette's father name, before she was married, at the time when she was younger, is Dr. Freeman, was her father, and he was an orthopedic doctor. Again, we're getting into the medical field. There always doctors and lawyers involved with people. Politics. But anyway, so yeah, through the Geneva green, it brought me to Dr. Freeman, which is the orthopedic doctor, and that's Lauren Bessette's father. I'm sorry, that was under Geneva, that green. Oh, I just noted that green came up in Maryland's reading. That's why I had it underlined. But we're still working on Geneva, so. Also, she was a student of political science and psychology, and she graduated in 1986. Again, 1986 was mentioned earlier. I believe it was 1986. Quote me on that. Let me see. That date came up again. Well, we'll go back and find it. But anyway. So, I never knew that. And again, she worked at Morgan & Stanley Bank Financial Analysis. Alright, so we're going to go to video 2 on John F. Kennedy Jr. through the Spirit and his words. And let's see if there's any information that might help us get a better picture to see what really happened. Or maybe it was an accident. We don't know. We'll connect with that. Go to video 2. And we'll see you there.